Imagine you are deep in the Amazon rainforest. The trees are so tall they block out the sun, and the air is thick and humid. You are a hunter, and you are tracking a strange animal. You see fresh footprints on the muddy ground. They look like human feet, small and quick, moving away from you. So, you follow them. You walk for hours, deeper and deeper into the jungle, confident that you are getting closer to your target. But suddenly, you realize something terrifying. You aren't getting closer to anything. You are actually completely lost. The footprints you were following were a trap. They didn't lead away from the creature, they led towards it. You have just been tricked by the most famous guardian of the Brazilian forest. You have entered the territory of the Curupira, and now he knows you are there. The Curupira is described as a small, boy-like figure. He is strong and incredibly fast. He usually has bright red hair that looks like fire, and sometimes his skin is green or dark to blend in with the trees. But the most important thing about him, the thing that makes him famous, is his feet. His feet are turned completely backward. His heels face forward, and his toes face behind him. It looks painful to us, but for the Curupira, it is his greatest weapon. Why would a creature have backward feet? Is it just to look scary? No, it is actually a brilliant tactic for survival and defense. Think about it. If you see footprints in the mud with the toes pointing north, your brain automatically thinks the person walked north. So you follow that path. But the Curupira's anatomy flips this logic upside down. When he walks, his footprints look like they are going in the opposite direction of where he is actually traveling. If a hunter tries to track him, they will end up walking the wrong way, getting further and further away from him. Or worse, they might think they are running away from him, but they are actually running right into his arms. It is the ultimate trick. It confuses poachers and hunters until they are hopelessly lost in the deep woods, often never to be seen again. Now, you might be thinking, is the Curupira an evil monster? The answer is, not really. He isn't a demon, but he isn't exactly a friendly fairy either. The best word to describe him is a guardian. The Curupira has a very strict code. He is the protector of the trees and the animals. He does not hate humans, but he hates greed. In the stories, if a person enters the forest to hunt only what they need to eat, to feed their family and survive, the Curupira will leave them alone. He understands the circle of life. However, if a person comes into the forest with greed in their heart, if they hunt animals just for sport, if they kill mothers with babies, or if they cut down trees unnecessarily, then they have a problem. The Curupira has zero tolerance for people who disrespect nature. He views the forest as his home and the animals as his family. Imagine if someone broke into your house and started breaking your furniture. You would probably defend your home too. That is exactly what the Curupira does. So, how does he punish these bad hunters? He doesn't usually fight them with physical strength, even though he is very strong. He prefers psychological warfare. He likes to drive them crazy. Besides the backward footprints, the Curupira uses sound. He can mimic the human voice perfectly. A hunter might hear someone calling for help, or hear a friend's voice shouting their name. They run toward the sound, thinking they are finding a companion, but they are just being lured deeper into the thick jungle. He also uses high-pitched whistles that seem to come from everywhere at once. This whistling makes the hunters dizzy and panicked. There are stories of hunters who get so scared and confused by the Curupira that they faint or lose their memory. They act as a warning to others. When they eventually stumble back to their village, they are shaken and terrified, warning everyone, do not take more than you need. Is it possible to escape him? According to the legends, yes, but it is not easy. Since the Curupira is a creature of the wild, he is very curious. Some stories say that if you are being chased by him, you should leave a gift. He apparently loves tobacco and sweet drinks. If you leave a rope with a very complicated knot, he will stop to try and untie it. Because he is so curious, he will forget about chasing you and focus entirely on the knot. This gives you just enough time to run away and find your way back home. But the locals know that the best way to avoid the Curupira is simply respect. Before entering the deep forest, many traditional people would ask for permission or leave a small offering. They acknowledge that they are guests in his house. It is a relationship built on fear, but also on deep respect for the power of nature. Why does this legend exist? Folklore is rarely just made up for no reason. The story of the Curupira serves a very real purpose. For centuries, this story taught people to respect the Amazon rainforest. It was an early form of environmental law. Long before we had government regulations or park rangers, the fear of the Curupira stopped people from overhunting. It stopped people from destroying the forest for no reason. It taught children that the forest is watching them, and that nature has a way of fighting back if you abuse it. In modern times, the Curupira has become a symbol of ecology in Brazil. He represents the fight against deforestation and illegal poaching. He is the spirit of the Amazon itself, standing firm against those who want to burn it down. Even today, when people hear strange noises in the woods or when tractors mysteriously break down in the jungle, some people still whisper, "It's the Curupira." So, the next time you go for a walk in the woods, look at the ground. Look at the footprints. And if you ever feel like you are being watched, or if the path you are on doesn't seem to make sense, just remember the guardian with the backward feet. Maybe it's a sign to treat the nature around you with a little more respect. Thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know, does your country have a legendary creature that protects the forest? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more myths and legends from around the world. See you in the next video.